Okay, I guess I gotta talk about the newest season of What If, and also the final season of What If. Season 3 recently came out, and it was released daily, like Season 2 was. I thought Season 1 had some legitimately good episodes, but had a few stinkers here and there. And Season 2, I really did not like. Season 2 was heavily criticized by a lot of people because, for one, the episodes that we got, most of them were just not great, and a big criticism was the fact that Captain Carter was in a large chunk of the season, and the last two episodes especially just focused on the Watcher, Captain Carter, Kahori, and Strange Supreme, and all the characters that we've already seen before, and I don't know why they would do that for an anthology show. And apparently season 3 is the final season. Yeah, that's right. This Marvel anthology show where each episode is about a different character, a different story, or is supposed to be about a different character and a different story, is ending after 3 seasons. And not only that, this third season has less episodes than the last two. Season 1 and 2 had 9 episodes each. This, for some reason, has 8 episodes. Why, I have no idea. They really couldn't have squeezed in another concept. I don't know. Maybe they really just wanted to end this show as soon as possible because, nobody's... not nobody. I'm not going to sit here and act like nobody likes this show. But I think, the majority of people are just not really liking this show, and I think that is a big reason why Marvel is ending it, because I don't know the viewership it gets on Disney Plus, but I imagine it's not really that much, or not really that high. So I feel like that's the reason why Marvel is ending it, because, why else would you end an anthology show when there's so many concepts you can do and so much potential you have with a show like this? Why would you end it after 26 episodes? That's already a bad sign going into it. But of course, like everything, I gave it a chance. I sat down and watched all the episodes, and here is what I thought of each episode. The first episode is, what if the Mech Avengers fought the Hulk? So this is a scenario where Sam Wilson becomes friends with Bruce Banner instead of Steve Rogers. And as a result, obviously they become good friends. So this is, Bruce Banner really wants to rid himself of the Hulk, because, Sam is a motivational speaker. He's basically motivating Bruce Banner to want to finally rid himself of the Hulk once and for all. So what does he do? He gets the genius idea to put more Gamma into himself, because, Gamma is the reason he became the Hulk, so he thinks that Gamma will be able to cure himself of the Hulk, even though that doesn't make any sense, and I think that is a really dumb explanation. It's a dumb setup for this episode, because it's just an excuse for things to go wrong and for, Bruce Banner to become a friggin' ginormous Godzilla Hulk, and that's exactly what happens. Basically, Bruce becomes this Godzilla-looking Hulk, and he even has his own army of, Godzilla Hulk creatures, and the Avengers have to stop him. And, this episode, one thing that really didn't make sense to me was that the Avengers are all killed off. Like the main of original six Avengers, they're all killed off, even though they have armor. They all have armor to fight these things. They're all killed off. So the remaining people, Sam Wilson and Bucky and I don't know who, I can't remember whoever else, but they're like, okay, we have to avenge the Avengers. So let's get mech suits to fight these creatures, even though, you know, it worked out so well the last time. And it's one thing I was really disappointed in is because, like, you'd think because it's like they're in mech suits and they're battling these ginormous Godzilla monsters, you'd think the action would be amazing, but it's extremely underwhelming. I was very disappointed in the action because, for the most part, it's literally just Godzilla monsters slamming into each other, and that's really it. So I think those are the reasons I didn't really like this episode. It's a really lazy setup and a lazy excuse to have these Godzilla monsters, and the action is underwhelming. This was like the one episode of the show that I think I was the most interested in, because, you know, of course they released the episode list like they did with season 2, and I was looking over it and I'm like, ugh, I gotta sit through another one of these. And I was like, okay, I tried to look for the most interesting one, and this was the most interesting concept. However, I would rather watch this episode 10 times over before I watch the second episode, which is, what if Agatha went to Hollywood? I don't even know what to say for this episode, because this episode was so goddamn boring that it almost made me fall asleep. Basically, you have Kingo from the Eternals, which they're finally, I think this is like the first time they've used an Eternal since the movie. And so they have Kingo and Agatha in this production together, in this musical together, which is being directed by Howard Stark, and it's so boring. This is by far the worst episode of this season, and I don't know. Like, it's Agatha is trying to become powerful, and near the end she gets the powers of a Celestial, and, you know, Kingo is trying to convince her that, like, oh no, this isn't the way, like, you know, I mean, you know, I don't even know. I was snoozing by this point. I did not care for this episode at all. However, the next episode, What If Red Guardian Stopped the Winter Soldier, I really liked this. This is by far the best episode of the season, and it's because it's the only episode that actually tried to change a character because of a what-if scenario. I mean, it's kind of the whole point of the show, and this is kind of the only episode in this season that gives us a concept that actually prevents an outcome from happening and goes in a different direction and actually gives us an answer to a what-if question. And I actually found this to be interesting. I really enjoyed this episode. Number one, it has great action. There's a really cool police chase, and Winter Soldier is, like, using his arm to, like, grab the other police car and, you know, swing it around, and Red Guardian is trying to outrun Goliath, and it's awesome. I love that action scene. It's so fun. And one thing I really enjoyed was the relationship between Red Guardian and Winter Soldier. Red Guardian is actually able to, like, encourage Bucky to try to remember his past, and he says he remembers being at Coney Island, and Red Guardian says, well, you're the Coney Island hero then. That's what you are. You're not a nobody, you're a somebody, and Winter Soldier is like, no, I'm nobody. I don't remember anything about my past. And I loved that. I really liked Red Guardian kind of encouraging him and trying to be his friend, and they're just like in it together, and they're running from the police. I also liked the ending. It's got a really nice ending. Bucky basically sacrifices himself in order to save Red Guardian, and he gets brainwashed again because he refused to kill the Red Guardian, which was what his mission was, and he didn't do it. And so as a result, Red Guardian is free, and Bucky is brainwashed again, and Red Guardian then gets to join the Avengers alongside the original 6. And I thought that was a nice ending. Like, this is the reason why I love these types of episodes is because it actually does make me interested in what this universe would be like because of this, like, ripple effect, because of this domino effect that, like, because Red Guardian stopped the Winter Soldier from killing Howard Stark, from killing Tony's parents, what would that universe be like? Like, this is an episode that actually makes me think and wonder, what if? That's why I like it, and I wish they would do more episodes like this that are actually, like, interesting and make you think, and not just stupid fucking what if party Thor, or what if Happy Hogan Christmas. What the fuck? Like, I don't care about that stuff. I don't want goofy, dumbass concepts that are just, trying to be silly and trying to be like, oh, what if this happened? And it's like, no, I want actual concepts that change the course of events and that actually make you wonder what would happen next. That's why I'm so disappointed with this season. What if season 3 is not good? I know I'm not done talking about all the episodes yet. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. But, spoiler alert, I really didn't like this season. It does not get better from here. Episode 4 is What If Howard the Duck Got Hitched? Basically, this is I don't know what they were thinking, because it's like nobody liked the Party Thor episode, What If Thor Were an Only Child, from season 1. Nobody liked that episode. And what they do with this episode is basically a sequel to Party Thor. It's the same, it takes place in the same universe as that episode, and it's basically Darcy Lewis, because, like, they hinted at a romance between Darcy Lewis and fucking Howard the Duck in that episode. And so in this episode, they have a baby, and, like, it's an egg, and they are trying to protect this baby because apparently it's, like, a special baby. Nick Fury contacts them and says, there's something special about your baby or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so, like, there's a bunch of, like, characters from the Marvel universe that are trying to get this baby because, apparently it's powerful, or apparently, like, it's special. So you have a shit ton of characters that are trying to, like, go after Darcy and Howard and this egg that they have. And I won't lie, I did like this more than the Party Thor episode, because at least it was not just, like, stupid goofiness. I mean, don't get me wrong. The concept, it's goofy. It's fucking, it's a human woman who has a child with Howard the Duck. It's a stupid, it's still goofy, but I enjoyed it more because of the overabundance of characters we got to see. I mean, we got to see so many different characters, and, like, we got to see, like, Thanos and Loki, Frost Giant, and Caecilius, or whatever, whoever the hell his name is from the villain from Doctor Strange, Mads Mikkelsen. We got to see so many different characters, and I think that was what made this episode kind of entertaining. But again, I'm not going to sit here and say it's a good episode. It's not. You know, I think a lot of people, based on comments I've read, this is probably the most shit on episode of the season, and I don't blame people. I don't think it's the worst episode. Like I said, Agatha Went to Hollywood is way worse for me, because at least, you know, Howard the Duck Got Hitched is more entertaining, but it's not a good episode. Like, what? I don't understand why they wasted an episode on this, on like a sequel. Again, it's basically like a spin-off / sequel to Party Thor. Why would you do that? Party Thor is one of the most hated episodes of the entire series, and they made a sequel to that instead of going with an original concept. I don't get it. So, you know, stupid episode, bad, but not the worst. Then you have episode 5. What if the Emergence destroyed the Earth? Now, if you've seen my review of season 2, you know that I complained that there was a lack of Spider-Man. There was no Spider-Man in season 2. He was in one episode of season 1, and that's it. Well, when I read the description of episode 5 of this season, What If the Emergence Destroyed the Earth, it mentioned Quentin Beck. So I'm like, holy shit, Mysterio is in this episode? Maybe that means Spider-Man is going to be in this episode. Are they finally going to do a Spider-Man concept? And I was like, oh boy, this could be a great episode. So I clicked on it. I was sat down and all like, he, you know, I'm so excited. Spider-Man does not appear once, and the main character is Riri Williams, Ironheart, and it's Riri going up against Mysterio, because Mysterio has basically taken over the Earth and basically completely destroyed everything. I mean, pretty sure the Earth is in pieces, like it's Sonic Unleashed or some shit. And I didn't like the episode, not just because, oh boo-hoo, Spider-Man's not in it. No, the reason I didn't like this episode is because it's way too predictable. I mean, you have this like apocalyptic end of the world scenario, and it's Riri and Wong is there, and oh god, I can't even remember now. Like, I mean, there's a few, Okoye is there, there's the select few characters left, and they're all like under the command of Mysterio, Quentin Beck, and what really bothered me about this episode is that, like, you have the Watcher narrates every episode, in case I haven't mentioned that before. The Watcher, voiced by Jeffrey Wright, he narrates each episode, and he's like, you know, in this universe, this didn't happen, therefore it led to this. That's nothing what his voice sounds like. I can't do a good Jeffrey Wright impression. But basically, he keeps on saying in this episode that Riri always fails. I've seen countless universes, and, you know, it never ends well for Riri. She always fails, and you know, we're doomed in every universe. And it's like, okay, if we're not seeing those universes, you're clearly showing us this universe because this is the one universe where she finally succeeds. It's it's not exactly a happy ending, because it's like, you know, she still has her friends die, but she ends up succeeding in the end because of the Watcher's help, because the Watcher broke his oath, and so he intervenes, and helps Riri defeat Mysterio. And it was just so predictable. You know from the very beginning, as soon as the Watcher is saying, oh, it never ends well, I've seen countless universes like this and it never ends well, it's like, yeah, no, it's very obvious that she's finally gonna succeed in this universe and stop Mysterio. And it just didn't make for a very engaging watch for me because I knew exactly what was going to happen. So yeah, this episode sucked. They use Mysterio, but not Spider-Man. There's so many concepts you can do with Spider-Man, but yet they choose to use his villain instead. Good Lord. Marvel. You got Marvel taking a page out of Sony's book and making fucking movies with villain stories of Spider-Man villains without Spider-Man. What the fuck, Marvel? You're supposed to learn from Sony. What are you doing? The next episode is What If 1872, I think. Now, when I saw the trailer for season 3, and they were showing this episode, this was like one of the concepts that I was the least interested. I think this was the concept I was the least interested in, based on the trailers, and it's Shang-Chi and Kate Bishop, in a Wild West setting. That just did not sound interesting at all to me. However, this was one of the better season 3 episodes. I actually ended up liking this episode a lot more than I thought. First of all, it does have some fun reveals and some pretty decent action towards the end. Spoiler alert, but you have Sonny Bishop as he's revealed to be in the train. He's revealed to be like a bad guy, and that was kind of cool, even though I kind of expected that because the voice actor's name is in the credits at the beginning, so you kind of know the reveal. Shang-Chi's sister is revealed to be the Hood, the identity of the Hood, and they have like a little confrontation. So it has some fun reveals, it has some decent action, I also really thought they did a good job with the sound effects. Since this is the Wild West, I love the sound effects of like the guns and like the footsteps and like everything like that. The details of the sound effects with this setting, they did a good job with. So this was a pretty good episode, but I'm not saying that this is like the most amazing, mind-blowing episode ever. It's not one of those episodes that I talked about with episode 3 that makes me wonder, want to know more about this particular universe, and what happens after. It was just kind of like, yeah, they did a pretty good job, but that's really it. It's not really something that I'm really interested in. However, little did I know that episode 6 would be the last what if concept for the show. And what I mean by that is that episodes 7 and 8 is a 2-part series finale that is focused on the Watcher and Captain fucking Carter and Kahori and Birdie, who is the daughter of Howard the Duck and Darcy Lewis, and also Storm. And the 4 of them are trying to rescue the Watcher because he broke his oath in episode 5 that I talked about when he saves Riri from Mysterio. And so because of this, the other Watchers are like, you broke your oath, you need to be punished. We are never to intervene. And this is what they spend the last 2 episodes doing, is this fucking, the Watcher breaking his oath. And so these 4 characters, Captain Carter, Birdie, Storm, Kahori, they all have to save the Watcher. And so, what the fuck? Like, that's all I have to say. what a terrible idea for a finale of an anthology show. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, here's the thing. I'm not saying they can't do a story on the Watcher. They certainly can, but it's the fact that this isn't the first time they've done this. Season 1 ended with What If the Watcher Broke His Oath? That's literally the title of the episode. And so the Watcher brings in a bunch of characters that we've already seen before, which is one of my biggest problems with this show. It constantly is bringing in characters that we've already seen before, and instead of original stories that we actually want. Because again, I feel like I constantly need to reiterate, this is an anthology show. It's not a fucking linear series. Each episode should be focused on a new story. So give us something we have not seen before. But they keep on returning to characters we've seen before. But season 1 ended with What If the Watcher Broke His Oath, and he brings together the Guardians of the Multiverse with Captain Carter. Season 2 ends with Captain Carter again and Kahori and the Watcher doing some shit with Sorcerer Supreme, and he's trying to bring his universe, or he sacrifices his own universe or some shit like that. And now with this season, they're again doing the whole Watcher, and he needs Captain Carter's help. What the fuck? I don't understand why they keep on using Captain Carter, especially since that was one of the biggest criticisms of the last season, was the overuse of Captain Carter. Captain Carter was in the pilot episode of the show, What If Captain Carter Were the First Avenger? She then appeared in the finale, like I said. Then she had another episode dedicated to her. What if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper or some shit like that? And then she's in the last 2 episodes again of that season. And now she's in the last 2 episodes of this season. I don't know why the fuck they keep on thinking that Captain Carter is an interesting character, because it's literally just it is just a swap out of Steve Rogers. It's Peggy Carter in place of Steve Rogers. And their characters aren't different at all. Why do they keep on using her? Episode 7 is called What If the Watcher Disappeared, and is basically focused on Captain Carter and her team trying to find out what happened to the Watcher and trying to go to rescue him. And it's a 2-part story. It continues in episode 8, called What If, What If? Holy shit, they fucking did it. They asked the best question of all. What if, what if? But regardless, I hated this finale because all it is, the entire episode is just a big, long, drawn-out action scene. And it's not even a good action scene. It's the same shit over and over again. All they're doing... Well, I should give context first. So, the four women all get cosmic powers because the Watcher shares his cosmic powers with all of them in order to fight the other 3 Watchers. Uatu, the main Watcher. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. Uatu, I think. But regardless, okay, so he's the narrator for the show, is giving his cosmic powers to them so that they can fight the other Watchers. And literally, the whole fucking episode is them just blasting lasers and fucking energy beams at each other. And it's the same shit over and over again. I'm not kidding. This is the entire episode. It is a big ass fucking long drawn out action scene. And it's like, this is what you spend your final episode on. It's so frustrating. This is why I think it's pretty obvious at this point, but I thought season 2 is better than this. Season 3 is the worst season of the show, because why would you waste your final episodes on this shit? Like, first of all, again, I was really hoping that because of the criticism of season 2, I was hoping that maybe, just maybe, they would listen to some of the criticisms. Maybe not all, but at least some of them. And the fact that they didn't even listen to a single criticism, and it almost seems like they did this on purpose just to fuck with the fans, and basically be like, here's more Captain Carter, here's more dumbass concept of a sequel to Party Thor, here's more concepts that you don't want, here's a 2-part finale that is focused on the Watcher and Captain Carter again. It's like it really feels like they did this on purpose, and that's what's so frustrating about this season. In a way, half of me is glad that this is the final season, because at least I don't have to friggin' sit through another one of these seasons with more Watcher, more Captain Carter, more not Spider-Man, more, so half of me is glad that it's ending, but another half of me is disappointed. Why would you end a Marvel anthology show when there's so many concepts you can do, when there's so much potential that this show has? I said this at the beginning, but I think it's probably due to the fact that I don't think it has a very high viewership. I could be wrong about that, and maybe Marvel just does not want to continue this show for other reasons, but at least to me, it just seems like What If constantly has a declining viewership each season. Again, I'm not saying this is fact, but the first season was heavily, I heard people talk about the first season a lot. If the first season was very popular, but then it's like when the second season came out, people stopped talking about that real quick. And with this third season, it's like, I don't really, it seems like nobody really cares anymore. And you also have what I know is gonna piss a lot of people off, but at the end of this episode, at the last episode of What If, they flash it flashes these images on the screen of characters in What If scenarios, and they even show Spider-Man for 2 seconds, and it's like a 6-armed Spider-Man, I think. And they go through several different Marvel characters, like Thanos, Wolverine, Deadpool, and Jubilee, and whatever, X-Men, Iron Man, etc. They go through a bunch of these different characters, and these concepts that they show, again, it's like images that they flash on the screen of characters with different powers and shit like that, and different appearances. And it's like, it's the biggest fucking cock tease that they could have pulled. This is the final episode, you're ending the show, but you tease all these freaking concepts. And it's like, what? Oh my god, what a fucking cock tease. What a slap. This is a slap in the face, basically, to the fans. Now, I want to address something that some people may think about this show. I've mentioned several times that this is an anthology show. But, and it literally, it calls itself an anthology show. Like, the description for Disney Plus says it's an anthology show. So, which means that they should be giving us concepts, new concepts and original concepts each episode. However, there's obviously some linearity to it, because they They reuse characters. Obviously, the Watcher is in every episode narrating it. And the finales of each season make you think, like, oh, this is what the season has been leading up to. But, so, it's almost like it doesn't know whether it wants to be an anthology show or a linear series. And that makes it so frustrating to both sides of people who want an anthology show and people who want a linear show, because it doesn't work as an anthology show. It doesn't make those people happy because of these finales where they constantly do the same shit of what if the Watcher broke his oath, and Captain Carter, and these characters that you've seen before. But it also does not work as a linear series for people who want it to be like that, because it does have these episodes where it's like that have nothing to do with what goes on in the finale and have nothing to do with any other episode. Like, what if zombies? What if Red Guardian stopped Winter Soldier? What if the world lost its mightiest, which is one of my favorite episodes? You know, these concepts that have nothing to do, the stories that have nothing to do with the rest of the show. So it does not satisfy either side. So even if you make the argument, oh, well, Arron, it's not supposed to be an anthology show. First of all, that's wrong, because it literally advertises itself as an anthology show. But even if you were to say, like, Arron, it's not supposed to be an anthology show, well, then why do they have these concepts that have nothing to do with any other episode? They have these self-contained episodes. So they already failed, even if they want it to be a linear series. So either way you look at it, the What If animated show fails. It is a complete failure in what it's trying to do. So, and especially this last season, this is just, it's a disaster. It is a complete disaster. What's frustrating about it is that there is episodes that are so good. They have episodes that are genuinely good. What if 1872? What if Red Guardian stopped Winter Soldier? You know, these episodes are good. And season 2 had good episodes. You know, what if Peter Quill fought Earth's Mightiest Heroes was a fan favorite last season and was easily my favorite episode. What if the world lost its mightiest? What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? An episode that I've talked about last time that I fucking love. I thought it was fantastic. Amazing what they did with that episode. It's dark. It's, you know, it's great. What if Killmonger rescued Tony Stark? That's an awesome concept. That, again, it goes back to what I was saying about the Red Guardian episode. That is a concept that actually makes you think and wonder, what if this happened? You know, I wonder what this universe, how things would have turned out because of this ripple effect. Tony Stark continues to produce weapons. You know, what if the Avengers were all killed off before they were assembled? But no, instead, the majority of the episodes, they just give us, what if Agatha went to Hollywood? What if Howard the Duck got hitched? What if Thor were an only child? Really? There's quite a few people who suggested the idea of, what if the other half got snapped? And while I don't think that's the most creative concept ever, it's certainly way more interesting than the 90% of the episodes that we got. You know, I would much rather see what if the other half got snapped based on, instead of Howard the Duck got hitched, instead of Captain Carter 40 million fucking times. Like, anyway, I'm gonna give What If Season 3 a 3 out of 10. I apologize for this review being very unorganized. I know I was all over the place talking about this, and then I went back and forth constantly. So sorry that this was such an unorganized review, but talking about this show makes me very frustrated because it's such wasted potential, you know? So, and I'm not going to continue to repeat myself. I think I've made it clear throughout this video on how I feel about the show. One thing that I didn't mention talking about season 2 is that I really have come to not like the animation style all that much. To be specific, I really don't like the character models. The character models, I don't like how shiny they look. I don't like the way they look. They're too shiny. They're very gelatin. The character models are just too clean looking. I think that's the best way to describe it. They're too clean looking. They're too polished. They're too glossy and shiny. It just makes the characters look really bad. I think whenever there's not a close-up shot of a character model, I think the show looks beautiful. The backgrounds, like objects, look great. But whenever there's a zoom in of a character model, I'm always like, ugh, like this just does not look good. I've come to really not like the character models. That's not to say that the whole show is like bad animation. I hate the animation style. It's really just the character models. Everything else looks great. So I just wanted to mention that. Now I'm going to give you my episode ranking now, my final episode ranking of all 3 seasons combined. But because I already gave you my episode ranking with season 2 and 1 together, I'm not really going to go into it very much. I'm not gonna go over each episode. I'm just gonna flash on the screen my episode ranking of all 26 episodes ranked from worst to best. Now, I'll flash on the screen now. You're probably seeing it, but the episodes that are in red, those episodes are bad, terrible. The episodes that are in orange are okay, average. Episodes that are in yellow are pretty good with some problems, and obviously the episodes that are in green are great episodes that I really like. I'm sure it's pretty self-explanatory, but there you go, there's my final ranking. And also, I have to say, what a terrible year this has been for Spider-Man. You know, not only the comic books, I've been reading the comics lately, and they're really bad. I mean, you got the whole, like, Peter Parker working with Norman Osborn thing, and, God, it's just terrible. And Mary Jane is married to that Paul guy. I'm glad that run is going to be coming to an end soon. Hopefully we'll get a better writer. Then you, of course, got Madam Web, which, oh, God, one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Probably the worst comic book movie I've ever seen, and it did not do wonders for the whole Spider-Man universe. Then you have Venom: The Last Dance, which there was aspects I liked, but really it's not a good film at all. And then you have Kraven the Hunter, which recently came out, which I have not seen yet because it wasn't even playing at my theater. I guess they were like, no one's going to want to see this. We're not going to fucking play it. No, fuck that. Which part of me is glad because it's like, I don't want to watch it, but I know I'm going to eventually have to watch it. I'm going to, I'll eventually watch it, but I have not seen Kraven the Hunter, but, based on comments I've seen, based on reviews, it's not good, and I'm confident in saying that it's probably really fucking bad. And the reason why I mention the whole Spider-Man thing is because What If Season 3 basically cock-blocked Spider-Man because they didn't even put him in the Mysterio episode, and they teased a 6-armed Spider-Man for like 2 seconds at the end, and it's the biggest cock tease ever. Like, I mean, so it adds to the list of 2024 just being absolute dog shit for Spider-Man content. And not only, you also have the Shameik Moore situation, which happened in 2024, is probably still ongoing right now. Basically, for those of you who don't know, I'll try to quickly explain it. Basically, Shameik Moore, the voice actor for who voices Miles Morales in the Spider-Verse movies, is under controversy right now. Basically, for a while, it's kind of like people have been joking about how he's constantly trying to make moves on Haley Steinfeld, his co-star. Haley Steinfeld voices Gwen Stacy in the Spider-Verse movies, and you have like all these interview clips where Shameik Moore is like not so subtly trying to like hit on her and make these moves towards her. And at first it was like a joke, right? But then Shameik Moore apparently like tweeted something. I'll put up the tweet, but people thought that this tweet was in reference to the fact that Haley Steinfeld got engaged. People were again making jokes about how he's like, simping for like Haley Steinfeld, and he claims that tweet, he came out and said he claimed that tweet was not referring to Haley Steinfeld, and so people were like, okay. However, just when it seemed like things were starting to become okay again for him, it got worse. Shameik Moore apparently posted a picture of him with the actress who plays Liz Allen, ironically, in Spider-Man Homecoming, so it's another Spider-Man actor. He posted a picture of him and her together, and he captioned it like "coming soon" or something like that, and people thought it was like a hint that maybe they're dating, and the actress got upset with this. She apparently was uncomfortable with this picture and asked Shameik Moore to take it down. And Shameik Moore didn't take it down. He either said no or he ignored her and kept it up. And this is when people started to really turn on Shameik Moore and basically be like, this guy's weird, he couldn't get with Haley Steinfeld, now he's trying to get with her. Like, what is going on here? And so Shameik Moore had to make like a fucking apology video, which is so ironic considering that Miles Morales in the movie had to make two YouTube apology videos, which is one of the funniest jokes in the movie for me. So literally, he has to do what his character did in the movie. He has to make like this apology video, and people still weren't really happy with it. I think people were pretty mixed on the apology video. I don't know what is going on with Shameik Moore, but I guess he has this weird like mindset because all of the other past Spider-Man actors have dated their co-stars in real life. Tobey Maguire was dating Kristen Dunst, Andrew Garfield was dating Emma Stone, and Tom Holland is currently dating Zendaya. And Shameik Moore, who is he dating? Certainly not Haley Steinfeld, that's for sure. So it's like he has this like weird mindset that he needs to date his co-star because he's a Spider-Man actor. And it's weird. But also I find it kind of amusing watching this whole thing play out. I bring all this up because it's like, again, it's another thing that just adds to the list. Not only is Spider-Man's reputation in the dumps this year, but now Shameik Moore, his reputation is fucking in the dumps now. So, and I know, I'm talking about fucking celebrity drama. I know I talk about movies. I do reviews. I don't talk about fucking celebrity drama, but I wanted to bring that up just because it has to do with the fact that 2024 has been a really fucking dog shit year for Spider-Man, and the Shameik Moore controversy certainly doesn't help things. So yeah, I'm hoping that 2025 is going to be a redemption year for Spider-Man. Oh, and not to mention, this guy named Aaron Turner made a Spider-Man Christmas music video, and it's possibly the cringiest thing I've ever seen in my goddamn life. So, that certainly doesn't help Spider-Man's sullied reputation this year. Good God. Spider-Man's reputation is certainly riding on that new animated show that's coming out pretty soon, actually. I think it's coming out at the end of January. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Unfortunately, I've seen the trailer. It doesn't really look that great, but, I'll talk about that in another video. But anyway, I think this video has gone on long enough. I don't even know how long this video is. If it's in a half hour, I won't be surprised. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this was all over the place. First, I'm talking about What If, then I'm talking about Spider-Man, then I'm talking about Shameik Moore. Celebrity gossip. I'm sorry. This video is fucked. But that's what I thought of What If Season 3. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good night.